with Mom's Creative Moments, and I am bringing you another project recipe. This is another oldie but goodie. If you're out there and you remember Spring Cottage that Creative Memories had about, let's see, when did it come out? In 2021, so a couple years ago now, 2 springs ago. Spring Cottage was a beautiful collection that really worked well with all of its embellishments and everything. I had a little bit of the paper left, so I'm going to use that today, but I don't have many embellishments because I loved them so much. I used them, so we're going to see what we can do and make our own. Maybe we'll see what happens. Let's check out my workspace. Okay, so in the blink of an eye, between my little intro and coming to my workspace, I remembered that I actually do have some of the embellishments from this collection that I had set aside. So we'll see how we can incorporate these into this layout. But I'm excited that I still have some of the butterflies and things like that we can use. So that'll be fun. Setting those over there for later, and these to join them. Let me show you the project recipe. So this is what it looks like, and even though it shows that we only have room for 6 photos, depending on what you are wanting to include on your project, you probably could actually include more than that. Some small photos could go here or even here. You could use one of these spaces for journaling and include a smaller photo. You know, you can adjust it however you need to adjust it. It's your page, so you do not have to do it exactly the way it is on here. We are going to need, according to the directions for this one, we're going to need a light gray sheet of cardstock for one side and a tone-on-tone paper for the other side of the base. And we're going to need 2 designer papers and 1 tone-on-tone paper. Okay, so we're going to take a look at those and get cracking here. We're also going to use the Climbing Vine Border Maker Punch, which is one that came out a bit ago, back in 2021. So if you have this one, go ahead and get it out. If you don't, you just need what we call a chain border maker, a chain border cartridge, a cartridge that will make a border chain. How's that? And that just means that it cuts completely away from your main sheet of paper. So it's not going to just put an edge on it or punch a design into the edge. It's actually creating a separate border that separates from the main page. That's a chain border, and that's what we're using today. Okay, so anything will do as long as it goes with your design, and we're going to use the leaf chain because that's what this was designed to use. I am using a piece of light gray cardstock like it calls for. I'm also using this sheet that looks a little bit like wood as my secondary page. So those are a little bit different from each other, but similar enough that I can live with it. You know how matchy-matchy I am. I like my bases to be the same, but you know, once in a while I try to branch out, especially when the project recipes say to use something different. So I'm trying, guys. Okay, so I'm going to set those over here to the side. Then these are the 3 papers I'm going to use. And I suppose the argument could be made that they are all tone-on-tone and not one designer and one, or you know, 2 designer and 1 tone-on-tone. But I feel like they are different from each other enough that it will be just fine. This one, the green one with the leaves, we are actually going to use both sides of. And so that will also provide some differentiation. The brown one we are also going to use both sides of, so that also will give some variety. And the green one we're going to use to punch our leaves and do some mats with. So it's going to provide some nice depth to our page. So let me grab my trimmer and we'll get started with trimming up some of these pieces. And then we will be able to proceed with our punching. So let's stick this over here. Okay, so I'm going to first off just use this leaf paper, the green, light green leaf paper. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut 2 pieces, and they're both going to be 5 inches wide. So we're going to cut 2 pieces at 5 by 12 first off, and then we're going to stack them together. So there's one at 5 inches, 5 by 12. Then we're going to do a second one at 5 by 12. That piece is extra. Okay, we're going to stack those on top of each other. Then we're going to need to move the arm in our trimmer out so that we can measure 10 1/4 inches. Okay, so stacking these together, we're going to come all the way out here to 10 1/4, which seems excessively far. I don't typically measure all the way out there, but you could also just measure to the end of your grid on the right hand side, 1 3/4 inches, and that would get you the right measurements for what we're doing as well. So these papers are 5 by 10 1/4. Set those aside. These smaller pieces that you have here, you are going to cut a piece at an angle. Okay, so we're going to take them and we're going to go from this corner. We're going to line that corner up on our cutting line. Then we're going to line the top edge, the top long edge, up on our 45-degree angle line. Do you see how that is? Make sure your papers stay together. This one could be done separately if you're having a hard time keeping your papers together, because you want to make sure that you have this corner up here in line with your cutting line and this edge right here in line with that 45-degree angle. Okay, there we go. All right, and I'm going to just cut that corner right off. Okay, don't get rid of it though, we're going to use it. Okay, so just set that aside up there. Then we're going to flip this over and do the same thing going from the other side. So that upper corner, and we're going to line this up on our 45-degree angle line. Okay, cutting very slowly so that I can try to make sure and get the right angle. It's a little squared off, but I'm close. All right, so there's those 2 pieces. And now we're going to use our brown designer paper number 2, the brown plaid. This one we're going to cut initially at 6 1/2 inches. So we're going to come out here to 6 1/2, using our upper border, upper shoulder to line that up. 6 1/2. Then we're going to turn this horizontally and cut it at 4 1/2. We're going to cut 2 mats at 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. Okay, so there's one mat. We're going to do another one at 4 1/2. Okay, so there's 2. Then we're going to take this lower or smaller piece here, and we're going to cut 2 pieces that are 1 inch wide. So I'm going to use my shoulder on the left hand side here to help me keep my paper straight, and I'm going to use the 1 inch marker on the right hand side to measure. So there's 1 inch, excuse me, and then we're going to do one more that's 1 inch. this piece is extra, so just set it aside. Then these two pieces we need to cut down to 5.5 inches. So find your 5.5 mark, which is right at the edge of your trimmer out here. And we're just going to go ahead and cut off that 1 inch. You can save those if you want to, or toss them if you don't care to keep them. Whatever makes you happy. All right, using the scrap of our brown paper, we're going to cut another piece that's 4.5. So 4.5 inches. We're going to set that extra thin piece aside, and then we're going to turn it horizontally and cut 2 more 4.5 inch pieces. So we have squares, 2 4.5 inch squares. And this extra piece can just be set aside as well. Okay. Now we're going to grab our green paper, our green or our tone on tone. This is what I'm using for our tone on tone paper. And we're going to, first we're going to cut a 4.5 inch square, or 4.5 inch strip, sorry, from this. We're going to make 2 additional mats that are 4.5 by 4.5. So 4.5 inches that way, then we turn it and make 2 more. There's 1. And here is another. Okay, that's extra, so set it up there. Then we are going to cut, and let me just double check this measurement. I need 1, 2, 3, 4 that are 1/2 inch wide, 4 strips that are 1/2 inch wide. But this one is only 6.5 inches long, so we could conserve a little bit of paper by cutting that at 1 inch first and then cutting through it. I don't know if I want to do that. I think I'm going to go ahead and just cut 4 1/2 inch strips, and then we'll cut them the length they need to be, because I feel like I'm going to be more accurate that way. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. 4 1/2 inch pieces, and then 2 of them need to be 6.5 inches long. So I'm going to stack 2 of them together, find my 6.5 inch mark, there it is, and lay it down right in front of my shoulder. There we go. These are extra pieces, so just go ahead and set them aside. Setting those 2 over there. Then we need 2 that are 10.25 inches long, so stack these other 2. And remember how I said that we could have measured our other 10.25 inch pieces simply by measuring out to 1 3/4 inch on this side. So that's what I'm going to do this time. There we go. Okay, and these little pieces are extra. Those pieces will be in our design. All right, the remainder of the green sheet we are going to punch. So go ahead and set your trimmer to the side and grab your border maker. Go ahead and get that green paper set up in your border maker. And we need 3 punched strips of our leaf pattern, or whatever pattern you're choosing to use. So there's one. This is number 2. Come on, don't grab. Let go. Thank you. Okay, we're going to do one more, and then the rest of this paper will be extra. So let's try going the other direction just for fun. Maybe it will get hung up less. Yeah, that seems like it works better. Some punches are like that. You can fight it going one direction, and then all it takes is starting from the other direction, and you won't have any problems at all. So here we go. Let me get that put away. All right, now we are ready to start assembling. So I'm just going to move these pieces out of the way a little bit, and I'm going to move these squares because they are not in our design today. I'm going to grab my base sheets. Here we go. Now our base sheets are going to we're going to grab our corners. Remember how I said don't throw those away? And my all-purpose tool is hiding, but I need it. Come here. There it is. Okay. So we're going to use our green pieces that we cut and put these in these far corners, like so. I know you can't see that one. Let me move it over. Here we go. That's better. Now you can see both pages. All right. Then you're going to need to grab those trapezoid-ish pieces that we use, or that we cut. And we're going to flip those over, and those are going to go, that's interesting. Okay, I'm going to put those right underneath those corners, because my angles must have been a little bit off because they didn't quite line up. That's okay. We'll just cover up that edge, and it will be lovely. Okay, so just like that. Then we're going to cut a portion of our leaf chain that's going to go across the front of each one of those. Okay, so just laying that out for you, we'll go ahead and let me go ahead and grab my repositionable adhesive, and we will just go ahead and adhere these down. That way we don't have to worry about stuff shifting, right? All right. I'm just wondering, we punched those 3 times and yet, oh, you know what? They cut the leaves off. That's what they did. Oh, very interesting. Okay. First thing we're going to do is adhere the parallelogram, rhombus. What is that? I'm sure that you're rolling your eyes at me right now, right? Because you know I don't know these things, and one of you people is so smart. You were able to tell me last time. Exactly. My daughter's laughing at me because I don't remember what that's called. Okay, I'm gonna stick that in the corner. This is a triangle. I know it's a triangle. Gonna put the triangle right in the corner and on top of the other piece. All right, there I said right in the corner, and then I set it down and it's not quite right in the corner. Come on, Kimberly. There we go. Much better. Okay, then I'm going to take this and put some adhesive across it. I'm going to go slightly off the page at the top and run the seam of this green leaf paper kind of not through the middle, but kind of through the upper third or so of this. Okay, then I'm going to grab my precision point scissors and just trim at least this longer part off over here so that we don't catch it on anything. I don't catch it on anything. And I'll trim the top later. Don't throw this away. We're going to use it, okay? All right, so let's do the same thing to this side. You guys and your math brains, you're so smart. So smart. All right. Now our triangle. Okay, and then we're going to do some adhesive on our leaves and put these across here at approximately the same place so your design goes all the way off the page. You don't want your punch to stop before it gets off the page. All right, there's that for later. All right, now we are going to take our, I'm going to stick this up here so that I don't lose it. We're going to take our longer pieces, these green ones right here. I'm going to set those up there in the middle because those are mats that we will put on later. And we're going to put these 2 sheets, and one is supposed to be flipped over. So let's see. We are going to flip over the one on the right. I think that'll be all right. we're going to make sure that they're at the same level, and I'm putting mine approximately an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter up from the bottom edge of my paper, just to be sure that we can move it if we need to. I'm just going to use repositionable adhesive. And I think, you know what, I'm going to actually drop this down so that it's a little bit more like an inch from the bottom. Okay, so an inch from the bottom. And we're just going to make these meet in the middle, right, so that they are at the same level and everything looks nice and even from one page to the other. Okay, then we're going to take our long green strips, and these are going to go across the bottom here. So again, repositionable adhesive to the rescue. This is just going to start in the center on the left hand side of my right hand page, right up to the edge of that other decorative paper, and it should be the same length out here. Okay. Same thing on the right hand paper, but just starting in the middle to lay that down and make sure it butts right up against that leaf paper, nice and straight. All right. Now we're going to grab our corner rounder. So if you have your corner rounder handy, get that out. And we're going to round only two corners, so just the outside corners. I'll show you what I mean here. Okay, so these pieces are going to go right here on the outside. So you only need the top and the bottom long corner to be punched. Because that's where those are going to go, right there. Okay, so some more repositionable adhesive. Right up against the edge. Again, you don't want to see the base page through if we can help it. I do have a little bit of a seam right there, but this is a do as I'm saying, not as I do moment, right? So right up along the edge. So because I have just a little bit more, even more of a gap on this side, when you're off by even just a teeny little bit, it can cause issues. And I don't want to see that gap of the lighter paper through. So I'm just going to move it over just infinitesimally and cover that gap up, right? Because it makes me feel better. Nobody else probably cares, but it makes me feel better. So I'm going to do it. All right, so now let's take a look here. Now what we need are our 4x6, 4.5 by 6.5 mats. These are going to go on either side here, and this one's going to get turned over on the left. Okay, so that there's a little bit of variance in our color scheme, right? Okay, I'm gonna move my papers back so that they are, again, at the same level. Okay, that way when I adhere these down, they will be too. All right, so this is going to go just about half an inch above, about a half an inch above the mats, or the leaf piece that's across the bottom. Okay, just like that. And we're going to make these meet and be mounted at the very same level. So it doesn't matter if it's not quite a half an inch, as long as this one and this one are at the same place, you're good. Same level. Okay. Then you're going to grab these other two pieces of green right here. And we're going to add adhesive to the back. And these are going to go across the top of our layout, the top of our mats that we cut. Make sure I move my leaf out of the way. Alright, so just like that. Now, let's see where we stand. Now we need our squares, and it looks like we're going to put one right here, and one right here, and then our these mats are going to go opposite how they are up here. Alright, just like that. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and put these down because I can't imagine not using a square photo where these mats are going. So it doesn't matter which way I turn it, it's going to be the same, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and put that down. This one I'm going to make about a half an inch, maybe not quite a half an inch. So it looks like on our sample these look more centered, so I think I probably need to move my center one over just a little bit. So I'm going to make it more like a generous half an inch from the left hand border for this one, and then we're going to move the dark green one over. Which is again a benefit of using my repositionable adhesive, right? So then we can make it half an inch from the center and almost half an inch between the mats here. Doing the same thing on the other side. All right, there we go. Okay, now it looks like it's time to embellish, and then we are going to be all done. So grab these extra little pieces of your border up here And I just want to double check something because it did say to punch 2 border pieces. Maybe it's because you use more than half. I think maybe you could even get away with just punching 2, not 3 of those border pieces. Anyway, just a thought. Okay, we're going to use our precision cut scissors and we're going to cut some of the leaves off of our border chain. All right, so that we have individual leaves that we can add to our to accent these borders that we've put on our page already. Okay. I don't know if we'll use all these or not, but you know, that's okay. We'll have them. Just in case. I'm going to flip this one over. It's easier to cut from this direction than the other one. All right, so that vine can go away. Now we've got these cute little leaves. And we're going to flip these leaves over and use the lighter side to add some leaves to our border up here. All right, so you can just use your imagination of where you'd like to put those. Go ahead and stick them down anywhere that makes you happy. They keep being difficult for me to grab, difficult for me to pick up. Make sure you put some going different directions. So you want them to go off forward and back. And then my other recommendation would be to put an odd number of them. All right. Also, I also need to, so we are going to need to trim some more, the ones on that side. But I'm going to go ahead and trim the top of this, which I did not do before. Okay, so that's good to go. Now we're going to jump over to this side, trim some of these leaves off. All right, I've got 5 leaves down there. I think that's probably sufficient. Let's go ahead and adhere these just like we did the ones on the other side. Oh dear, I put my adhesive on the wrong side of that one. Good thing I can rub it off, huh? All right, try that again. All right, one more and our leaves will be doing pretty good there. Okay, need to trim off the vine at the top. All right. Oop, and I have a leaf that got a little bit crazy and went off the paper, so we'll just trim him too. All right, now we can embellish these pages, and we're almost done. Let's see, what should we do? So I have some fun mats. I have May Your Life Be Like a Wildflower, Growing Free in the Beauty and Joy of Each Day. I have Hello Spring, and some ivy, and sunny days. Wow, that's wishful thinking on my part right now, isn't it? Some really pretty trees, and some flowers. I could see totally putting that like right in front of there and then putting a photo behind it. Maybe we can add our trees over here on this side. Got butterflies. Let's do Hello Spring. I'm so ready for spring. I don't know about you guys, but I am really ready for spring. Super looking forward to it. So we're going to use the butterfly. Hello Spring, and we're going to put a couple of leaves off either side. So, like that. And then let me grab my foam squares, and I'll pop this sucker up. Okay, there's that. Okay, and we can put Hello Spring kind of just right out there, I think. Then we'll add our trees over on the other side. And I'm just going to go ahead and adhere these to the paper. Huh. I wonder what I'm late for. Am I late for something, Emily?
Letting me use the food processor. I'm sorry, it's the one loud thing I need to do for dinner.
My daughter is harassing me, ladies.
I'm sorry.
Not cool. All right, I'm gonna cut this little bit out of this mat so that I can use it in here. So, just gonna trim this real quick. Trimming it at 2 1/4. That's about right. And maybe we'll round the corners or something. Grab my corner rounder. Do that. Butterflies. Flowers. Definitely ready for spring. Ooh. If it's going to be spring, I need to get ready for a garden. How many of you garden? Either flowers or vegetables. Either way, it's right around the corner. And we have gotten so much snow this winter that hopefully they will not tell us we can't water our lawns. Our lawn got so bad last summer because we were not allowed to water more than an hour a week total. All right, so we're gonna do, I don't want to totally cover up our trees. Maybe I'm gonna move that tree. We'll do butterflies and flowers and spring showers. We'll move it up there. And we'll put a butterfly or a bug on it. How about a bug? Which bug? Dragonfly. Okay. I think I'm not going to worry about trying to put an embellishment down here, and this one I'm just going to attach at the bottom. Oops. My repositionable adhesive is kaput. Okay. So this one I'm just going to adhere at the bottom, right on top of the green, and centered on that mat over the top. That way I can put the photo down right behind it and it won't interfere at all. Do we need anything else? Does that need to go under there to give it some extra something? I don't know, something to think about. I think I'm gonna do that. This is gonna go right on the paper. Hold on a second. Repositionable. Here we go. I have to reload. I'm going to trim off just a little bit of this one up here so that I can tuck that under just a little bit more, a little further. I picked up the wrong adhesive. Dad blast it. Okay, hang on. I hate it when I get in a hurry and I stop paying attention to what I'm doing. Tucking it out of the way. Repositional is my friend. Repositional is my friend. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to tuck this kind of up and underneath there. Cool. I like that. All right. We are done. What do you think? Are you ready for spring? I am so ready for spring. All right. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed joining me today for this throwback project recipe to Spring Cottage. And I hope that it's something that you can use and utilize and make work for your layouts. It is a really cute layout and a nice design that we got from our home office. And until next time, I wish you many more creative moments. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a great day.